Are you still living in a dirt hut? I'm a plebeian. We only have dirt huts. Would you like to be as squeaky clean as the ancient Romans? I would, yes. I'm very dirty from living in that hut all the time. And I have a deal for you. This fine Roman bathhouse can be yours for the low price of 64 diamond blocks. Hey, what part of plebeian didn't you understand? Only patricians have that many diamonds. Oh, well, in that case, you'll have to watch the tutorial video. I can do that. Hello, my name is Trydar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Roman bath in Minecraft. Let's get started. So the first thing we will do is take a little tour of the exterior of our Roman bath structure that we're going to be building here. For the astute observers among you, you will notice the Theodosian exterior design, meaning this would be a bathhouse of around the 6th century AD. But everything about it, I have tried my best to keep it authentically Roman. So now that you can see the exterior here, we have pretty much a double barrel vault structure here with the two arches and the barrel vaults. We have a couple of apses on the side here and one more apse on the back here, along with several windows and some skylights, and of course a small vent to get rid of all of the smoke from the hypocaust system below, which we will talk about in detail in a moment. So the first thing we will do is go in the bathhouse and take a look around. This is, of course, the main entrance over here on the left. And this will take us into the tepid arium. That is what this room is called. So let us go through the entire Roman bathing experience. The first thing we'll have to do is put on a pair of wooden sandals, because the floors in the next room are very hot, and we will burn our feet if we don't. So since we don't have wooden boots in Minecraft, the leather will have to do. So as I've said, we are now in the tepid arium. This is a lukewarm room, meaning that it is warm, but it is not boiling hot. And in here, we of course have behind me some beds for you to relax and stretch out on. A few ferns for decorations, and of course in here, since it is rather tepid, we have a color scheme that reflects that with the prismarine and green colors. And in front of me here, we have our first little plunge pool, so we will dive in. Take a little dip around here in the lukewarm water. That feels refreshing, so we will get out of there, and I think we will lay on the bed for a little bit to rest from that. Let's take a look at the barrel vault that we have up here in the ceiling, by the way. You can see we have a lot of quartz detailing in here. We have some integrated pilasters on the four corners. And as I said, a barrel vault with a skylight up there to let natural lighting into the bath chamber. We'll have, of course, many torches. And this is the interior of the apse that we saw on the outside. We can see we have an arch here supporting that, and ornamental detail over the doorways here. And I think now that we are reasonably warmed up in the tepid arium, we are ready to go into the cold arium. I believe this would be one of the root words for the term cauldron. We're all familiar with one of those in Minecraft, and it's of course a very hot structure, as you can tell by the warmer decoration in here with the nether quartz ore and the red nether brick here, of course. The floors also give you some indication of just what is going on below there. Of course, this is why we are wearing the wooden sandals, because the floor in here is actually quite hot, and we would be burning our feet if not for the footwear. And you can see the designs I have chosen in here, of course. As you can tell, we are going to be making use of some of Minecraft's glazed terracotta, and we are doing this in these rooms because it is a very fitting material to use as a Roman mosaic. And as you will go through the rooms, you will notice they're all color keyed. to be various materials. Of course, since this room is the hot room, as you can see here in the cold area in the pool, the water is quite hot. So let us take just a little dip in here, and oh, ow, 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 oh, hot, 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 ow, oh, ah. I think perhaps the pool in here is just a little bit too warm. But now that we are thoroughly overheated, it is time to go into the next room. And the next room, of course, is going to be the frigid area. Frigid meaning of sort of a root word for cold. And you can tell that this room is much cooler than either the tepid area or the cold area because it is all done in blue. I've used quite a lot of lapis in here. It is also larger because this is the last room in the Roman bathing experience. And from that we have this cold water plunge pool that we can get into with a nice little freshwater fountain coming in here from one of the aqueducts. So we will take a quick dip in here, and yikes, cold, 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 ouch. Well, instead of the water being too warm, it's now very cold. And after that, I think it's time to go to one of the couches behind me here and take a good rest. On the way to the couches, there are various basins over here filled with cool, clean water for you to refresh yourself if you need to. Also some benches over here as well. But there are a lot more benches over here because these are designed for the end of the Roman bathing experience, where you would have one of the bath attendants come over here and pretty much slather oil all over you and then scrape it off. Not a very pleasant sounding experience, I have to say. But that is because the Romans, while they did invent a lot of cool things, they did not invent soap. And indeed, since this is a public bathing experience, it is very likely that you left the Roman baths with more germs than you went into them with. Because the Romans did not know about germs either, by the way. But that aside, getting clean was of course not the only reason they would come to the baths. Because all of those things aside, I suppose it was a somewhat pleasurable experience. And this being Minecraft, we are of course just building one of these for fun anyway. So now that I have given you a full tour of the Roman bathing experience, we can go out the other door here and down the stairs, and we are finished, and we are now as squeaky clean as the ancient Romans. Which, given what I said a moment ago, means that we are really not squeaky clean, but we will just sort of set that aside and go on with the rest of the tour. And there is a little bit more to see because we have to take a look at the underside of the bathhouse. By the way, before we start, as you can tell, this model over here, you will have a bit of underground work to do. So you're going to have to dig down 3 blocks because this here is meant to be your surface layer. And the reason is because of a bit of Roman engineering off to the side here. So back in this area, this is the sort of where the employees work. And in Roman times, that means pretty much a slave would have to come down here and stoke the fire. And this is, of course, the main entranceway to the hypocaust system, which is a Roman underfloor heating. So let us actually put out the fire here, which is heating the floor underneath, which, as you can tell, we have the magma blocks here, meaning that they're, of course, very hot. And you can see all the drips and everything dripping down, which means that the water is directly above this. And, of course, since it was close to the fire, it means that it is the hottest area of the floor. And underneath here, as you can see, we have all these little cobblestone piers supporting the floor, and these are called pili. It is their term. They're usually made by stacking a brick up, but we're going to be using cobblestone for that. And back here, as you can see, there's a bit of the floor above of the black glazed terracotta floors, and of course it is being supported with pili here because the hot air from the fire over there is coming in this way, and it is heating the floor first, and then it's heating the floor underneath here as well. And over here we have another entranceway which leads off to yet more pili over here in this section of the bathhouse. because since it is further away, the warm air is not quite as warm. So you can see here the glazed terracotta for the underneath of the tepidarium, which makes its floor decently warm, but as you can see, there is not one underneath the tub for the tepidarium over there. So if we go over here, I think somewhere over here we will be able to see the flue for the chimney out over here. And there we go. And if we drop down into this, we can see as we go down, there's a bit of the wall exposed through here. I haven't made the walls thick enough, but also in Roman times, they would have hollow bricks that they would make the walls out of to extend the function of the hypocaust into the walls as well. So they would heat up the walls in addition to the floors, but this design only features a hypocaust of the floors. So with all that very complicated tour and Roman engineering explanation out of the way, we are now ready to go over here and take a look at first the materials list actually, and then the phases for the buildings. As you can see, there are quite a lot of material, of varied materials used in the building. So let us start with that. So you will need 1,029 blocks of diorite, 10 blocks of grass or dirt. This is for the palms that we saw in there. 4,431 blocks of cobblestone. Lots of water for the pools. 26 spruce tree trunks for the doors. 275 lapis. 57 cobblestone slabs. 11 brick slabs. 40 quartz slabs. 1,233 bricks. 191 pieces of obsidian, 42 torches as a minimum, 8 cobblestone stairs, 1 block of netherrack, 46 light blue stained glass blocks, 22 wooden trapdoors of your choice, 42 brick stairs, 6 flower pots, 132 nether quartz ore, 253 quartz, 231 chiseled quartz, 262 quartz pillars, 321 quartz stairs, 42 light blue stained glass panes, 147 blocks of prismarine, 123 blocks of dark prismarine, 10 large ferns, 2 dark oak doors, 35 magma blocks, 114 red nether bricks, 56 black glazed terracotta, 143 blue glazed terracotta, and 56 gray glazed terracotta. I bet you thought the day would never come when you would actually be using the terracotta blocks, but here we are. And as you can tell, they are an excellent substitute for creating Roman mosaics. So with all of that explained, you have quite a bill of materials to go out and collect. Let's now go over here whenever you are ready, and we will build the foundations for the bathhouse. Now, as I've said, the surface of this is going to be like up here somewhere. So you need to go dig down 3 blocks. And let us just start over here in this corner, and I will count these out for you. So starting here, this is going to be from here down to here is going to be 26 blocks there, and then you want to turn and go add 4 blocks for a total of 5 there, then turn and go 2, then 1, then what? That's going to be 5, and then 1, then 2, 2 here, 1, then 5, then from here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then from here all the way down over there is going to be what? From here it's going to be 1, 2, 3. 23 blocks to get down here. Then 1, 1 again, 3, 1, 1, and then 4. And then from here all the way back down to where we started it is going to be 28 blocks for that dimension there. So let me just give you a good top-down view of the entire foundation here. And you want to make sure, measure this a couple of times, make sure that you get it correct. And you can also see placed on this, we have the, for reference, the 1 block netherrack for the lighting for the hypocaust system, which if we go up to the next phase, we will take a look at. Now, from this point onwards, I've shown you the first phase of the foundation as a 1 block slice, but all subsequent phases of the tutorial is laid out as a 2 block phase, meaning that each slice I show you is going to be 2 blocks taller than the previous slice. And what you should do is just pause the video and replicate the block patterns that you see on the screen, because I will be showing you block by block, every block that you need to be placing for this design. And also remember, if you need additional help beyond the video, this world here is available for download in the video description, so you can come here and take a look at it for yourself, if you play in Java anyway. So let's go back over here and I think start at, where should we start for this? We should actually start down here for a reference. So we have the netherrack down here, and you want to leave a little 2 block gap there, and then on either side of that you want to start filling in with cobble. We have 2 cobblestone stairs upside down facing each other to make a little archway over here, and then we have some cobblestone stairs over here and there as an access to get down into the chamber here. And I think from now that you have the netherrack as a reference block, I can just show you this from the top down, and it's very easy to count out the cobblestone pili that we have here. Remember, the supporting elements for the floor, these little squares here, or the cobblestone, these are called pili. That is indeed the Latin term for it. So over here you can see that we have a little transition chamber between the lower sections and the upper sections. Back here we have 2 small slabs of cobblestone here, by the way, and 1 over here to assist you down here. And over here, this is going to be where the chimney is for the bathhouse. And over here, of course, the pili are 1 block taller than the ones are down here, by the way. And that is because the hottest air is over here, below our bath chamber. Then the next hottest air goes over here for the floor of the caldarium. And over here we have a smaller chamber for the floor of the tepidarium, because we want this area to be tepid in temperature, so we do not have as big of an area. And indeed, that's why we have the chimney over here, which will also warm up some of the walls as it goes up through the building. And of course, we do not have any below the floor here, which we would have for the next pool over here as well. So let me just give you a good top-down view of this over here as we go. And I think for reference sake, just to make this easier to see, I will put red wool on the top of the pili over here, so you can see the locations of all of those with relative ease before I move on from this phase. And you want to make them like that there according to that pattern. And also as we go, just there's a little bit of leftover bedrock down here from when I was building it. Just ignore that. That's supposed to be cobblestone. So let us go on over here to the next phase. So on top of the foundation that we built, you were just pretty much raising all that up with cobblestone, just leaving voids for the hypocaust over there. And over here around front, over here, I believe this is the area over here. So we want to leave a little space, and indeed you can fill this in down here with grass, actually, because this is going to be level with wherever you are building this at. So as you can see, you want to go in, we have 2 blocks over here, bricks in this direction, and then 3 for cobble there, and then we have a 5-block wide doorway with little stairs and side yards according to that pattern there, then a 2, a 2, and a 2 here, then another entrance way here, then 3 blocks, then 2 over here to get that pattern. Then with bricks, you want to turn again here, go that way. Below this, by the way, we have a foundation of exposed cobblestone. And we are following the contours of our apps. We are laying out cobblestone and bricks, as you see done here, around this way here. I don't think I need to count that out. It's all on top of what you've done before, so you already have these measurements. We are also putting on some brick over here, by the way, as to complete the access way to get down to the hypoconst under here. And before we look at that from below, let's look at it from above here, because you're also putting in the pools. And below here, the water, you can see you're putting chiseled quartz blocks for those and a surround of normal quartz. According to that pattern there, it looks like it is going to be a 5x7 on the interior for the water. And over here, of course, the floor of the water is going to be magma blocks, because it is the pool in the caldarium, and we want it to be very warm. And I believe in a newer version of the game, it's actually going to be bubbles instead of what it's doing over there now. Over here, we have the pool that you can put in for the plunge pool for the frigidarium over here. And as you can see, it is done with a little bit of a different design. It is a 5x5 pool, except it's got a little apps here at the back there to sort of differentiate the pools from each other. So let me give you a good top-down view facing towards the front of this phase here. And I also need to talk about around the back here a little. I think you can see very easily where these brick blocks are going. And behind those, you are filling all of those in with cobble. And on the sides here, we're going to have some details for cutouts for windows. And these, I think, are 5 blocks, then 4, and then 5 here. So that will give you a good view of what we are doing at this phase here. Now, before we move on from this one, let's land and go in and put out the fire. So if we go underneath here, we've already built that, but as you can see, this area of pili goes up to 3 blocks tall in this section. But on the top, on the 4th block, there is actually a sort of a cross-hatching pattern of cobblestone slabs, as you see done here. And all you're doing is you're just taking the pili that you built from the last phase, you're extending it upwards, and on the sides of those, you're putting in the cobblestone slabs, as you see done there. Of course, for the other section of the hypocaust, which is now 2 blocks and a half, you are doing that over here as well. So I don't think I need to labor that point anymore. And we can move on to the next phase. So it is at this point we are layering in our fine Roman mosaic floors. But before we can do that, we need to trace out the walls, I think. So let's start over here again. On top of the brick, you're putting in more brick, and then a diorite on top of that. There, according to these patterns here, very simple to do. And behind those, fill things in with cobblestone, as you see that I have done around here. So over here, we have the doorway, a bit of spruce, and a bit of a brick and a diorite here. And another doorway of an identical design, and the corner also over here as well. So here is the apps. You're just extending that straight up with more brick and then diorite. As you see done there, just straight on top of what you already built in the last phase. And the back corner over here. And then just straight runs of brick and diorite. You want to wrap that around the apps at the back here. And on the sides over here as well, just straight runs of more brick and diorite as you see done there. Alright, so let's start over here with the tepidarium. So as you can see, when we come in, we have a little bit of quartz down here behind the door. But on the sides here, you want to make your quartz pillar blocks face this way so we can have this pattern. And then over here as well, we transition to a bit of chiseled quartz. And quartz pillars on its sides, as you see done here, for just a little bit of pattern. Below those down here, we of course have full quartz blocks and of course a chiseled quartz floor. And over here we have stairs to let us get in and out of the water with relative ease. Now as we go along, I'm showing you a bathhouse that was not decorated like the one that we saw in the tour, because I thought it would be a little less confusing if I showed you only the structure, and maybe you want to do the decorations all yourself. But if you do want to put in the decorations that I did add, it's mostly the beds and the plants and everything. Please refer back to the tour video where I show all of that in detail. So let's take a look at the mosaic floor in the tepidarium. As you can see, I have chosen a gray glazed terracotta for the flooring, and there's the pattern for that. Of course, if you want to have a different pattern or a different color of terracotta in here, feel free to choose that to your own taste. But they're very simple rooms. In fact, this room is pretty much a copy of this room in many respects. But you can see the black glazed terracotta I have for the floor of the caldarium. And you can also see around here we have the same designs for the quartz patterns around the room here. And down here in the water we have, of course, just plain quartz and magma blocks down there as well. So let me give you a good top-down view of this entire phase. Over here on this top half, and over here for the frigidarium on this half. And you can see that we have indeed started to use the blue glazed terracotta for the fine mosaic floors for this version of the bathhouse. And over here are views of the patterns and everything. Mostly chiseled quartz with more quartz pillars on their sides here. And we have the basins of fresh, clean water over here. And the sides of the room over here as well. And of course, one basin is a copy of the other one. And remember to leave a little vent down here for the hot air and smoke that will be rising up through the bathhouse. All right, I think we have covered that in a sufficient amount of detail. Let us now move on over here to the rest of the building. So as you can see here, we have a bit more brick over here, more diorite and more bricks. Here is the design for the doorway. A couple of torches on either side of those. And you were just extending all the outer walls up according to the patterns that we've established. So here is a view of the wall on the outside here. We are also beginning to build a bit of the windows. And when you do this, you are alternating glass blocks and panes, meaning that we have blocks here and then we have a pane. So on top of this, then we will have a block, and then we will put panes on either side of that, and we will alternate that as we go up through the windows, so be sensitive to that. Over here is a bit more, you're just layering and banding diorite and bricks, as you see done here, to replicate the Theodosian Byzantine style type of design. There's the back corner over here. And we're also adding it in the back windows over here as well. And this corner over here by the apps, like so. And the far wall over here of the Frigidarium, done like so. A little bit of a close-up here on the windows. So that is the exterior. Now we will go inside. We'll start with the tepidarium again and build out the decorations of the fine marble on the walls, which we are doing, of course, out of dark prismarine and regular prismarine according to these patterns here. Very easy to do. View towards the door. A view of the bathtub itself over here. You can see we have a little bit of a ledge on the bottom of the window over there. View of that over here, and I believe that covers the tepidarium. So we will move into the caldarium, and here is a view back the way we came. You're using the nether quartz and the red nether brick, according to these patterns here. And a view towards the wall over there, and we will now enter the frigidarium. Take a view back where we came. We're doing this with obsidian and lapis blocks. I really like building with lapis. It's got this wonderful royal blue color to it. It also matches the blue glazed terracotta quite well, I think. And over here, we can now add in the freshwater fountain from our aqueduct. Well, you know, you have to pretend that there is an aqueduct hooked up to this. If you want to build one of those, I, of course, have a tutorial for a Roman aqueduct, by the way. And over here, we have the pool of water and everything behind that there. And I will give you top-down views of this in a moment. So over here, we have the window design. Here and over here, same design. The design, a small little carved marble archway for the pools of water on either side here. And the walls over here as well. So let's go back over here and give you good top-down views of what we have built so far of the top half and the bottom half over here. Okay, let us move on to the next phase. Only got a few more phases to go. So over here is the exterior of the front. As you can see, we're putting out some upside down brick stairs over the doorway here. You're doing the same design on both sides. Over here, we have a bit more of the apps, and you can see we have the alternating bands of diorite and bricks. The window design you see done here with the alternating panes and blocks that I talked about. The wall around here, another window. The back corner wall, the back windows, the apps, and the view around the sides here of the windows of the frigidarium. All right, let us now land inside the tepidarium. Take a look at the wall design. You're pretty much going straight up with everything that you did, although there's a small detail. Upside down quartz stairs around the doors here. So let me just give you views of this room and slowly pan around and show you everything there is to build in here. There's not much use in describing all of it in detail. Pretty much the best way is just to show it to you, and you pause the video and replicate the design that you see. Right into the frigidarium over here by the apps and the fountain. The glass windows, pools of water, the doorway, a flat wall, and the water pool over here. All right, so let me give you top-down views of this phase. And over here as well. Pretty self-explanatory, not too difficult, I don't think. So over here, let us move on to the next phase. So I will go around the building and give you views of everything that you need to build here. We're building a small triangular pediment over the doors here, by the way. And you're doing that with upside down brick stairs and some slabs. Same design for both doors. The view around here, we're starting to put the half dome on the apps, by the way, so you want to make sure you build those out as you see done here. On all of those sides. Here also for the back windows, we're going to be putting some detail on those as well. The apps over here is fairly easy to do. And a view of the side windows of the frigidarium over here on the outside. Alright, let us land in the tepidarium. Take a look, we have the same design that we put on the outside now on the inside, but over the doors, made out of quartz, as you see here. So I'm just going to give you views around the room here at this 2-block level that we are constructing. Remember, we're starting to put an arch over this way for our barrel vault on this side. You want to make sure you build that out like that. View of the doorway here. So let's go through the doorway, take a look at the other side. We can see the quartz here. And indeed all of the quartz over here as well. And above the windows there. And above that there, just the same as you built over there. So into the frigidarium. Same design on the other side of the door. Over here, there's a small detail. We have a half dome that we're building over here on top of the plunge pool. A design for the windows. A bit more quartz there. More windows. And the exit doorway over here. And the flat wall. And that design there. So let's take a view of that from the top down. And the top down here. And remember make that bedrock over there be cobblestone. All right, and next phase, we are tackling the exterior first. It's fairly easy. You're just going up pretty much straight on the front here, according to that design there. And over here, we are building out the domes for our apses on the sides here. And both of these are identical to each other, by the way. So just build them the same. Here's the design detail back here. For the back windows, we have some upside down brick stairs and then some slabs making a triangular feature for decoration over the back windows. And over here we have, of course, the apps on the back here as well. And here's the design over here. We have some brick arches that we are featuring this side with, as you see done here. Both of those are exactly the same. So once those are done, we can now land and take a look inside the tepidarium. So for this one, you're putting on a sort of a top layer of dark prismarine and then more quartz. And up here, some carved acanthus leaves to represent some Corinthian columns on the sides here. So you want to build those out according to these patterns here. Let me just give you a top-down view of that. There, and good looks at all of these. Of course, every corner of these is pretty much exactly the same with your upside-down quartz stairs, as you see done there. And here's a view of the completed bath section. Back here as well with the quartz arch over it. And if we go into the caldarium, you will see a similar one over here as well. Of course, the ceiling in here is of the same design as the epidaria. So going into the Frigidarium, we have, of course, the same designs again. We have another archway over here and our half dome. Back behind there, then our upside down quartz, the obsidian, and the attached columns to the walls here on either side of the pools and fountains, as you see done around here. All right, all that's fairly simple and straightforward, so we can move on to the next phase over here, where we're going to beginning to be adding the insides and then the outsides of the barrel vaults to finish off the building. So on the outside, everything, as you can see, is very simple. You're going straight up with pretty much more bricks and diorite. And here is the side here. We finished our both of our apses on either side here. So on the ends of those, you want to have these sort of brick ribs, which are going to be wrapping over the domes, over the barrel vaults, that is. And here's the back here, more bricks and diorite. The back of the apse back here. And the sides here as well. Pretty easy to do. Let us go into the tepidarium here. You can see this is where we stopped on the last phase. So on top of that, you're putting prismarine, as you see done here. And up here, I like to hide some lighting up here with some torches so things don't spawn on you. And you want to build those out according to these patterns here. Pretty easy steps to do. And here is a view of the Frigidarium and the designs for that as well. All right, let us move on again. We've only got 4 more phases to go. So over here, we are no longer going up straight with this. We are now bending this to create arches, as you see done here. So that's from the front and from the sides over here. You're just stepping that back a little bit, as you see done here. And of course the back is pretty much the same as the front from this point onwards. And a view of the sides here. You're stepping things in a little bit. Now over here, let's look down into the tepidarium. As you can see, we are building the barrel vault, as you see here. And I think all this is pretty much self-explanatory. In the middle, you want to leave some upside down quartz stairs facing each other, because this is going to be a little skylight at the top, which will let natural light in to illuminate the bathing chambers. This is mostly a concession to the Minecraft lighting engine, by the way. Roman baths, they did have ceiling cutouts like this, but those were generally only in the smaller structures, I believe, the ones that I've seen anyway. And of course, the caldarium over here is of exactly same design, just different materials. And the frigidarium is much the same over here as well. Here's the view over here by the pool. Some internal quartz ribbing over here to complement the columns. And a good view from below down here as well. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. There is also some brickwork down here in the middle, by the way, because this is the lower part of our roof. Down here where the 2 barrel vaults intersect with each other. So you also want to build that out according to that pattern there. And here's a top-down view of the entire phase of the structure. All right, moving along. We are 3 phases from the end. Actually, we're going to wrap this up fairly quickly, actually. So let's start over here with the front. As you can see, you have your brick arches that's going through here. These are going to be 2 blocks thick in general, by the way. So I think you can fairly clearly see how to construct that there. and a view along the side here of the barrel vault. You can see we're going up 2 blocks here, then 2, then 1, then back 2, then I think probably another 1 when we get over there. So let me just give you a side view of this and a complete view from the back here. And of course the other side over here as well. And a top-down view of this section here. And a view down the split between the barrel vaults. And remember to also be building your chimney over here as well. And I think for aesthetics reasons, you can put 2 campfires in this. So when you are using your bathhouse, you can also have some smoke coming out of the top of that. Be quite nice. But we also need to go inside here, because at this phase we are finishing off the interiors. Aren't you glad? So up here, as you can see, you're putting on more prismarine, according to that there. And then more quartz and red nether brick, as you see down here. Up there at the top, also remember to put in a little block of light blue stained glass right there, so things don't fall into your building. And here are views, of course, to the barrel vault from the bottom of the frigidarium here. Pretty easy stuff. So we can move on again. So you are building out over here at the top of the brick barrel vault, as you see done there. Indeed, I think you only need to put this level here from what we already constructed. And the brick ribbing on the sides here. You can see the holes for the skylights arranged on those. And the brickwork around there. And around the sides here. And down through the middle here. So good top-down view of this. You've now completed the interior and most of the important bits of the exterior. In fact, the only thing that is left to build from that is the rest of the chimney. As you see done here, with just a little accent of diorite here and a bit more bricks. And somewhere down here you can put in some campfires if you so choose to do that. And once you have done all of that, indeed your Roman bathhouse will be complete. So I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial for the Roman bathhouse, and you yourself can be as squeaky clean as the ancient Romans in your Minecraft worlds. I tried to include as much historical detail as I thought was relevant, so I hope you have enjoyed that also. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.